Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we'll run faster, stretch out our arms wider until one fine morning, and so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. God bless America.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Indieheads podcast. I'm your host, Matty, a.k.a. at Monrovian Prince on Twitter. On this week's podcast, we have... Oh, boy.
Oh, folks. He's here.
Hey.
Jesus Christ.
We didn't order
really thought Jeremiah was going to go, and then Jackson started going, and then I was like, well, I better shut up now, and I think we all did the same thing.
Alright, hi guys. I'm Jackson at horse_jeans on twitter.com. Go throw that follow. Go throw those sweet likes out there. Get those hearts going. What's up?
Hey. I'm Alex, aka Orange Morange on Twitter. Don't follow me. I will fucking hate you for it.
Hey, I'm Jeremiah, also known as Monster Hunter Extraordinaire on Twitter.
Oh boy, the return of Jeremiah to the podcast. First time. Is it the first time?
It's been a while.
First time since like the Pitchfork podcast?
It might be possible because I just haven't had time.
Yeah, shit. So welcome Jeremiah back to the podcast. The OG.
Arrows on Jay Brecky cast.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
but still, that was that's still a while ago. That was literally done like less than a week after Pitchfork.
Exactly.
I got some thunderous takes today.
So yeah, Jeremiah, he's been saving them up for us, and we're gonna have them shoot later on in the podcast. We're doing a little special Billboard podcast, but before we get to the Billboard Top 10, which is again, like I said, I think one of our favorite podcasts that we do every once in a while. It's fun. We get to riff, we get to raff, we get to be little cheeky boys, and it's pretty cool. But let's get into what we've been listening to lately, and I'll start off by talking about this damn War on Drugs album from last year, A Deeper Understanding. I slept on this when it came out. I don't know where I think because I was in Chicago, and it didn't feel like a Chicago album, alright? It's the War on Drugs. It's either you're in California, baby, or you're in the damn heartland, and you're driving through the highways, and it just came out at a bad time. But I listened to it on the way home from work the other day, and I was like, damn, this is hitting. Like, the sun was coming down, it was like all orange and pink outside, it was like, damn, this is just hitting. Like, this is perfect.
That's like the only time to listen to War on Drugs. Like, I think you're just only allowed to listen to them when the sun is going down, personally.
I think, yeah.
Exactly. My best listen of Deep Understanding was on like a porch at like 5:25 p.m. and I was sipping a cold one, and I was like, this is definitely ideal conditions for some wars on drugs.
So for those of us that been new, this record fucking rules. It's sweet as hell.
It's very good.
I would die for it.
I definitely
mom and I, the first time I listened to it, my mom and I were driving home from New Jersey in a minivan that we were borrowing from a friend so I could get furniture from my aunt. And it didn't have an aux cord. And on the way too, we were like listening to these like bizarre compilations that were just in the car that would have things like a fucking, oh my god, what the fuck is this monster? Sorry. They would have like.
By the way, Jeremiah is playing Monster Hunter as he's doing this podcast.
Yeah, which is fucking incredible.
Also,
by the way,
I'm outside in Alltown right now, about 40 minutes from my house, coming at you remotely.
Yeah, this is a lo-fi as fuck podcast.
This is real late. It's not a late night in terms of time, but it's a late night in terms of attitude. Is what I'm feeling about this.
Boom. Jeremiah, continue.
And so on the way up, we're listening to these bizarre compilations, which would have like these weird. It had this weird. Sounded like it had to be a cover of Band on the Run because it just didn't sound quite right. It also had like One More Time by Daft Punk interspersed with like Enter Sandman and shit. It was just like this. It was just kind of bizarre. And then on the way back, we saw Barnes & Noble, and I was like, and it was literally like the day it came out, and so I was like dying to listen to it, but we didn't have an aux cord. And then I was like, Mom, let's go into this Barnes & Noble right now because we need to pee. So I went in, We went to the CD section, and there it was. It was the last CD they had of it. And there was a lady who is like, her nephew is like in the band or something. He's one of the touring members. And she was like, yeah. And she was like picking it up on vinyl, but she really wanted it on CD because she wanted to listen to it in the car. And I was like, sorry, ma'am. You get to see them live all the time. Give us this. And so my mom and I listened to it on the way home, and she was feeling it. Shit was flames.
Oh yeah, the thing I was going to say about this album is this is also Jackson's dad approved. He's got the stamp of approval from my dad. He bangs with the war on drugs. He also, like, my dad, I did my album of the year lister. My dad reads it because he's a nice guy, and he's like, I didn't really appreciate you calling... I didn't appreciate you calling the war on drugs dad rock. My feelings were hurt by that, which I thought was funny. No, but yeah, this is definitely a one that's gotten a lot of some replay value for me already in 2018, and I think will continue to be one that I throw on throughout 2018 and beyond, because it's just like for the very specific right circumstance, it's like there's no when you're in the mood for exactly this album, there's no album that's better than this one in terms of like giving you that exact like late afternoon feeling where you're just listening to some sweet riffs from the boys. So yeah, this is a really good album. I love it a lot.
Very highly recommend. And also before Jackson talks about his next album, and he's up next, by the way, I want to give a very quick shout out to this new Nadine album called Oh My on Father Daughter Records. I was listening to it last night. It was fucking hitting. It's like some nice jazzy indie pop. Boy, it was hitting. So I highly recommend that. Father Daughter's a good label. They're a good label, good people. Go check out Oh My by Nadine if you want some jazzy indie pop with some really nice vocals.
If it's not in the top one of the decade, I'm not interested. That's all I have to say right now.
All right, Jackson, it's on to you.
All right, so what I've been listening to this week is an album called Veteran by JPEGMafia, a.k.a. Peggy, is what he refers himself to. I have not heard of this dude before. I was unaware of his music completely. I saw it got the best new track from Pitchfork. It got a good review from Fantano. People started talking about it. I was like, all right, let me give this album a listen. I listened to it the first time last afternoon, and since have listened to it probably like 5 times in total. It's like the fact that I was listening to it the first time and it reminded me of my first listen of Ex-Military is like all you need to know about this album in terms of like, it's not like a perfect album. I'm not like, oh, this is an instant classic, greatest album of the year or whatever. But it is so original and so like in your face. Like the experience of hearing it for the first time reminded me of some of my favorite albums of all time. Because the way that it just like it hits you upside the head real quick with just pure like batshit insanity in terms of like experimental hip hop production. And I really like this album especially because it like combines a lot of the sensibilities of groups like Clipping and Lil Ugly Mane and Death Grips and stuff like that. That's super left field, and it's so noisy and experimental, but it combines that with like some of the flows he has in this album are like could fit on a Playboi Carti beat, but instead of doing it on a Playboi Carti beat, he's doing it on like reversed noise samples that have like all like there's the second song on the album features this Old Dirty Bastard vocal sample where it takes this part of an Old Dirty Bastard song where he's just yelling like "Argh!" and it loops it over these like tribal drums that just make you feel like you're like having like an awful trip or something. Like it's just the weirdest, most bizarre. It's very Ain't It Funny-esque in terms of like the emotional experience you have listening to it, and the whole thing is just like crazy. He's a really, really funny rapper too. There's a lyric on this album where he says, "I need a long hair bitch like Mike Seatown," of Dead End Hip Hop, which is an incredible reference. And also, I'm a big fan of the line where he says, "I've got an AR built like Lena Dunham. When I shoot, I don't miss." And just like the whole thing is like super funny, tongue-in-cheek, like experimental hip hop that is just, it's wild. It is a roller coaster of a listen. And like the whole album, it's like 40 minutes long, but like there's only a couple songs in the album that are longer than 3 minutes, and only one on the album that's longer than 4 minutes. And so like every song is super short, but in like a 2-minute song, he'll pack like 3 full song ideas in there because there are these beat switches and just left hook after left hook, and it's surprising and interesting and weird as shit, but it's also super like catchy. Also, there's a lot of like parts of it that like get stuck in your head, and yeah, I'm obsessed with this album. I'm excited to see what he does next. Maybe he'll drop more stuff this year, or maybe down the road, like whatever is. Apparently, this is like his 3rd or 4th album, so he's been around for a while. But it seems like, from what I've heard from other people, this is his best project yet, and it's got me real fired up. So go check that shit out.
I will co-sign this.
I listened to it once, but I also I don't know if this is totally unfounded or not. I got like a definite Odd Future influence out of that.
A little bit. The thing I've kind of felt about it is it feels like he's pulling from so much stuff from like the internet. Like this dude very very much like
he's incredibly online. He's incredibly
so online. And he's like he throws shots at like he calls out the alt-right like many times in this album, but also like there's this whole song called Libtard Anthem where his friend is making fun of some liberal dude calling him Bill Maher and saying he likes to beat women. It's like the whole thing of the album is he's a little crass, and he's like constantly just like kind of like poking fun at every group of people on the internet that like take themselves very seriously, like music bloggers and SoundCloud rappers, and he's just kind of, but it doesn't feel cheesy in the way he's taking shots at people. It's like very whenever he's like making a funny jab at someone, it's usually very well founded and something. He's always got a good point with it. It's not just trolling for the sake of trolling. He's really fucking funny too. Like there are laugh out loud moments on this album.
Also, a ton of wrestling references, which I really appreciated. Like, because
he's definitely big into wrestling.
Because like Edge's theme song is like a constant like, it's basically sort of like a beat drop, basically. Like, you know, Metro Boomin has his, you know, Metro Boomin wants some more. Like, he uses Edge's like "You Think You Know Me" as like basically like his beat tag, and it's great. And then there's also like references to Sasha Banks and Woke and Matt Hardy. It's fucking amazing. And
there's also one to AJ Styles. He says, "Got so many styles, call me AJ" or something like that on one of the later tracks.
Oh yeah. So Jackson,
I caught that one.
There's a time to get into wrestling.
Yeah, I mean,
this might be the tape to do it.
No, I mean, like honestly, with wrestling, it's like I have a lot of friends that are into it, and like I appreciate it. I'm not like dismissive of it, but it's just like I feel like I missed the boat in terms of I feel like you have to watch a certain number of minutes of wrestling while you are like below the age of 16 in order to like be able to be into it when you're an adult. And I just like, because I didn't grow up on that, like whenever it's like how you are with Brockhampton. It's just like I'm too old for this shit. Like I didn't get into it early enough. That's my problem with it.
I don't blame you there. But yes, this JPEGMafia tape, it's good. I like it. I give it a big cosign. I'm going to listen to it more. But Jeremiah, he has said he has thunderous takes for us, so we're going to kick it over to Jeremiah.
This take isn't, I wouldn't really describe it as thunderous. This is just kind of objectively correct. I think Alex can back me up on this one. But I think for a long time, I was under the impression that love was a symptom of time. But it actually turns out that time is just a symptom of love. And as another symptom, Diver is the greatest album of all time. I've been listening to it a bunch lately.
I'll co-sign this take.
What else can I say about Divers? Oh, right now I'm running around in this like coral reef, but like it's not. It's called the Coral Highlands, and all I can think about is the fact that this is where Divers is set, with like the fucking album cover and like the Highlands, and you're like, oh, you know.
That is how I feel when I listen to Diver. That's an accurate portrayal.
Also, I've decided that the map of Sapakonikan is the best song in the decade. Like, what the fuck? That song is nuts.
I won't argue with that, although the one that always gets me is The Things I Say.
Oh, The Things I Say is so good.
I say
Oh
all
my
of the
god! Like literally, like the first like every time, all the lines I remembered from the album that weren't in the title track, from like because I really loved it, but I wasn't. I was kind of aware that I wasn't really ready for Divers when it came out, so I would listen to it from time to time, and I would enjoy it, but I wasn't like. And so recently, the reason I'm talking about Divers is because I've been really getting balls deep in it, but it's. Yeah, all the lines that I would remember, like, were from that song. And then when I finally put the whole, like, when I finally like noticed that was one song, I was like, "Yo, what the fuck, Joanna?"
It's
man.
like every last word of that song is just like crushing and
The
brilliant.
cards
And like
that you use, but you don't discard.
it
Yeah,
strikes
but
this
sucks
like
that there's one
perfect
frustrating
balance
thing about
between,
Joanna Newsom
like,
is that you need to sing along because the lyrics are so good. She just can't, and you're like, damn.
Because no one can sing along with it. But
Yeah,
her.
it's a massive commentary on the way the listener interacts with the music because you just can't. You want to, but it's just so like she just like runs laps around you with all her fucking abstract harpsichord shit and her harps and her whatever the other instrument she plays is piano. That's not that.
All
far
of
out.
them. She
But
plays all the instruments.
she does play all of them. But anyways, she just kind of goes apeshit on you, and you're like, "Divers, my love," and you're just trying.
It's always funny to think about the fact that the best album of all time is an album that is about Andy Samberg. It's like that is just a fun fact of the universe.
Last week I went on a mad Joanna Newsom Andy Samberg like hunt just to try and find as many pictures and interactions of them, and like a classic underrated moment is when Andy Samberg wins a Golden Globe for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he and Joanna kiss, and he goes on stage, and I was like, "What?
Damn boy!"
I can't believe this." And then he shouted her out, and he was like, "And my lovely wife." And they showed Joanna, and I was like, "God bless America."
There's a really good episode of the P. Holmes podcast where Andy talks a lot about their relationship, and it's wonderful if that's the sort of thing that you're into.
I learned
very much am.
She didn't know about the rest of the Lonely Island songs, but she knew about like Just Two Guys, and obviously he's Steve, the C word in that song.
Yes.
And so she was like, and so she just watched it backstage when like their mutual friend introduced them, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're Steve, the C word."
That's hilarious. And then they got married, which is fantastic.
They have a
And
kid.
she said, I was like, and when I was another interview which I had watched when it came out, I think it was the Larry King one, where she was like, "Yeah, he's my best friend. He's the person who I want to spend all my time with." And I was like, nerds. And now I'm like, oh shit, I get it.
Real shit.
Who sis? Anyways,
Divers.
oh, also Pinlight Bent. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, moving on. Billboard, let's do it.
All right, Billboard Top 10. We're doing
Go.
this shit. This is the week.
I've got some
This is
thunder.
the fucking nightmare of a top 10.
It is,
No, it's actually
it
a
is
great
honestly.
top 10.
We are
It
recording
is.
this-
It is the worst top 10 we've ever recorded a podcast.
I strongly
about.
disagree, even though I don't know what the other top tens were.
I might agree with Alex. This definitely has some of the biggest stinkers, but they're not fun stinkers to talk about in some ways. Like some of these are just like, what is there to say? And we are recording this on January 27th, so if you're watching this, go to the chart
up or
that's
down?
like we're going 10-1. We're going 10-1.
10-1. I didn't listen to 10 because I stopped after 9, but I just assumed that 10 was good. I was just like, I feel like I'm confident in the fact that 10 is a good song.
Well, you picked a bad
Just
time,
look
so
on
bet on
the name and the
Migos.
features.
You picked
Yeah,
a bad
those
time.
Future and Cardi B, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Well, yeah, that's fucking great.
but
Okay. Number 10. Number 10.
Let's just get into it.
Okay, number 10 is Migos featuring Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, Motorsport. And
Oh, Nicki Minaj.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it still must be great. I'm gonna listen to it right now while we talk about it.
so this song is fine, but I can't. I can't support Migos in 2018. I just can't do it. I will say that the Cardi B and Nicki Minaj verses were both like pretty great.
That's Jeremiah, so you can do it.
Oh boy.
The line "Ride the dick like a BMX" is, like
15-second
Is-
the song.
It's pretty great.
best line about riding something since Young Thug's classic.
The stroller
Right.
line.
Good in
Hey,
yes.
cast my while we do this.
My opinion on the song is it's pretty good. I think it's pretty weak as far as the Migos' contribution to it in comparison
Yes.
to like most of their good songs. And then also, this is a personal opinion, but just like I'm not trying to hear a Nicki Minaj features in any year, but specifically this one. No, like I'm very like she hasn't had a verse in the song where I was like I needed that in a long time. Personally, that's just me. It's like not bad. It's not a bad verse. It's just like I was like, do you need to be here? I don't think so. I would have rather had it been just Migos and Cardi B personally, but
Nicki Minaj usually isn't like outstanding on a song, but like I don't know. I always enjoy her presence there. Like I never mind. I'm never upset that Nicki Minaj had a verse on like.
You know what's a
What?
great Nicki Minaj feature? Throw Some Mo.
I was
That-
sure
that-
you were
that-
gonna say Monster. That was,
But
that
yeah,
was, that
with
was
this
a
one,
good,
it's actually a good
twist.
feature. I'm
Yeah,
with
you
you on
actually
this one.
surprised me there because like you had an opportunity to talk about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and you actually didn't.
Nah, character development.
Okay, hang on.
Um,
Okay, I did not give my opinion on the song, and here's my opinion on Migos featuring Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, Motorsport. I am tired. I'm tired of Migos. I'm tired of them.
That's a bad take.
I'm tired.
I am-
They're
I am
homophobes.
down with
I don't
more
care.
Migos.
I'm tired of them, man.
I'm
Yeah,
never going to
Like
listen
they've
to
been
a
around. I have
album.
known about Migos now for at least 5 years of my life.
Yeah, I
maybe
think
6.
a lot of the people who like really love Migos now are people that haven't been listening to them for the last 4 years, and that's why they like it. Because like
Well, no, okay,
they've got a no. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the perspective of someone who has known the name Migos for 4 years, 4 or 5 years, but never listened to their music until they became popular. So they were just kind of this like mythical entity that were better than the Beatles. I knew this. I knew that they were because I saw them. And I just knew that Migos were great and that they were in prison and like shit was crazy. And I was just like, who is this mysterious Migo? Who are the Migos? I don't understand. And like, so I was kind of like aware of their existence as this like mythological, far off, untouchable thing. And then they came to me. I think the first time I heard them was Bad and Bougie, honestly. No, that's not true because of
Versace.
no. It was I don't give no fucks. Migo by Jeremiah. I don't give no fucks. Anyways, and so for me, Migos kind of have this mystical allure. And I'm like, they're just cool. So I'm down to hear more Migos because it's like whoa.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it's like for me, like the thing is that like they are everywhere now, and like in 2016 there was a Quavo or Offset feature on like every song, and then after a year of them being everywhere and just omnipresent, they thought it was a good idea to drop an album with 24 songs that's an hour and 45 minutes, and it's just
Exactly.
Like,
So find out who their true fans are.
I mean, good for them on doing that because I guess I'm not one of. I mean, I love like most of the Migos mixtapes, and I thought Culture.
Wait. I listened to Bad Bitches Only today in bed. No, that song fucking goes. I was losing my mind.
That's the one with that's the one that
with
Kanye did the
21
beat
Savage. Yeah, the beat is
Yeah.
nuts. Just losing my mind.
for. I mean, like it's not like Migos are washed up. It's just a matter of them not understanding the
Yeah,
like
Culture
supply and
doesn't
they're
need-
the supply and
oversaturated.
demand.
I'm never going to listen to any of their albums. I'm always going to see Migos and be like, Migos.
The one thing I will say about Motorsport is that it is definitely not the strongest single from Culture 2, which is 100% Stir Fry. Because that Pharrell beat, it's like, someone pointed out that like Pharrell gives out like really shitty beats sometimes, but then every once in, like 2018 Pharrell like is mostly not good, but like still can make like a crazy good beat, and it's just a matter of who gets the good Pharrell beats and who gets the like B- ones. And Migos got one of the good ones because that Stir Fry beat is infectious, and like the way that they dip more into some pop sensibilities on that song is like really great and refreshing and awesome, and I'm like here for that, but I'm not here for like it's become a running joke. I think it's a little derivative to say that they're like, oh, Migos should do the same song over and over again, but then like when someone pointed out the fact that they basically copied the exact same hook from Culture 1 and put it on a song on Culture 2, it's like, if you guys don't have like if you want to do a 24 song album or like an hour and 45 minute long album that has enough ideas for that length, then maybe you go for it, but like they just clearly did not. And like, yeah.
Let's move on. I'm done. I'm tired.
I just like.
I'm tired, Alex. Let's move on. I'm sorry.
All right. What was number 9? Number 9 was like.
Talk about the friggin' stupid shit they've been saying.
Okay, yeah. Let's mention their again. Migos. I think was it Offset that said it like.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Before we get into this, I want to preface this by saying that the Migos aren't the smartest boys.
No,
they're not the smartest.
No.
So it's the kind of thing where like I know full well that Offset did not mean what he said, but I also know full well that it's just because he's not super.
Okay, let's just get to number. Okay, let's just again. I think if you know Migos, if you listen to this podcast, you know who Migos is. You probably know that what happened. All right, they're dumb.
Weird. And you're like,
you could have said, "I do not fuck with Cheers." I mean, it would have been a hot take, but it's like at least okay. I don't like it. Okay, Cheers. I mean, so you know, I get it. But anyways, number 9, Sam Smith. Too Good at Goodbyes. Sam Smith is generally boring, and on this song, hang on. All right, we're back, folks. My internet, bless you, Alex, or whoever that was. My internet went out right before we got into our number 9, so let's get to our number 9. Number 9, Sam Smith, Too Good at Goodbyes. Sam Smith, he's boring. A lot of the time, he's very boring. Bless you again.
I absolutely cannot stop.
See, that was me today. I couldn't stop sneezing. I had to take a mucus pill like before this podcast. But anyway, Sam Smith, Too Good at Goodbyes. The song, it's surprisingly not that boring. I like this a lot more than most Sam Smith songs. I don't love it. I think it's fine. I think he's gotten better as a songwriter. He's not as boring.
Still, yeah, like definitely like the construction of the song, like when it gets into the chorus at the beginning of the song, like when we're like 30 seconds in and it's that whole like kind of slow beginning, I'm kind of already kind of checking my watch, like this is a little boring, but like once it gets into it, it's not a bad song. It's definitely way better than most Sam Smith solo material. He's got a nice voice, but it's like not anything real interesting going on there. So the song does a good job at keeping it fresh.
Yeah. But I will say the best thing that Sam Smith has ever done, and possibly one of the best pop songs of the decade, is the song with Disclosure. What's it again?
Latch.
Latch
is still really good. Yeah.
One of the best pop songs of the decade. I will say that straight up. It's fucking amazing. And so I usually will forgive Sam Smith for being boring, just because hey, you made that song. You're forgiven for a lot of sins because I think
the problem with Sam Smith is that like his voice is a very good tool for doing other things, as you see in Latch. Like his voice is used as part of this pop song. But then like he decides to go like, oh, I'm gonna do pianos and put my voice center stage. But like his actual vocals by themselves are not the thing that's like appealing about his music. Like his vocals work really well on a certain kind of pop music, but then when he's just like him and a piano, his voice becomes very boring.
Yes.
And like if you're gonna just do piano ballads, your voice or your lyrics have to be incredible, and neither of them are for him. And I think that's part of why I don't like most of his music, but this song is this could have been way worse as a top 10 hit Sam Smith song.
Yeah, I'm shocked by how much I didn't dislike it. So Sam Smith, shouts out, man! You did it. You finally did it. You made a solo song. That's not that boring. You did it. Keep it up, bud.
Have you guys seen his new album cover?
Yes.
Oh God, she was looking at me in the face.
Chris Martin with that stubble.
I was gonna say
his head looks so lopsided.
Yeah, it's like a weird the exact the picture that when you look at his profile picture on Spotify or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, that's a fine picture, and then like the one that they used for the album cover just looks a little off, and it's like, I don't know why you went with this one. Clearly there were some better ones from that photo shoot you probably could have used, but
yeah, let me find this cover. I don't remember. I know like what it looks like, but I don't know.
His head looks really lopsided.
Hang on,
that's all I gotta say.
Let me look if my
you also
phone
couldn't have like shaved your neck a little bit like for your album cover. Like, I get
intentionally going for.
I get it, yeah.
I heard an interview with him talking about this album, and he was like pitching it as him like coming back from like maturing into an adult and like.
That's the thing that Sam said. He seems like a nice guy and a pretty good musician. Does not seem like a dude who's like super smart or interesting.
I need to pee. I'll be right back.
There was the whole saga. There was a whole saga he had about like when he won the Oscar for Best Song, and he was like, "I'm so happy to be the first gay person to win an Oscar," and they're like, "Well, no, you weren't." But like he just didn't get it or whatever. It was like this whole weird thing, and I was like,
he's just very dumb. Like we were talking about Migos being dumb, and Sam Smith is also very dumb.
I don't know.
He's dumb in a way that gets him into trouble.
He's actually just low key a dick.
It's a bit of both. It can be both.
Like, he's not like the kind of celebrity who has lots of like, oh, they're a dick type stories, but I feel like if you met him, I don't think he would be a nice dude.
No.
I'm imagine. Yeah. But we can move on to the next song.
Yeah, this one's a good one. This one I'm into. Dua Lipa, New Rules, and this one's actually been climbing the charts for like pretty much the past couple months. It's been slowly climbing the charts, but now it's in the top 10
for a while because the Dua Lipa album came out in like April. No, it came out in May of last year. So she's been like just touring and grinding, and like so this is one that's in the top 10, but it's probably been on the top 50 for like half a year now. And
oh yeah,
for me at least, like this is not my favorite, like because like. For me, I listened to that the self-titled Dua Lipa album, and like there are some definitely better songs in there that I enjoy more than New Rules, but like I get why New Rules is the hit.
New Rules is fucking great. I really enjoyed it.
She's a artist who like does stuff that's her style is very like it fits very, very snugly into like the dominant sounds of the pop radio right now, but like she seems cool and interesting and different enough that I don't mind that she's playing off some of the same kind of notes that a lot of like the collab she has in her album with Miguel called Lost in Your Light. That is a certified bop right there. So in general, I'm pretty pro Dua Lipa, and definitely New Rules is not my favorite, but I do not mind it on this list at all. It's a good song.
Yeah, I mean, I have not listened to the album, but I will say yes, this is a very, very good song. Very smartly written. Like it's very like it's very clever. It's very witty, which you don't really see that often in something that's in the Billboard Top 10. As much as I like mainstream pop, you don't really get witty that often. And this just feels very, very slick, and it's more wordy than the usual song, but in a good way. Like basically,
it's a good
like the pre-chorus is like
shit kind of anthem.
Yeah, the pre-chorus is incredible.
She lists the rules that she has. The chorus itself is like not super great. The I got new rules I can't like that chorus is not my. That's the part of the song that I'm just like whatever. But like the whole part where she lists the rules about like don't call him, like don't if it's after this hour, don't pick like these rules about like treating yourself a certain way in romantic relationships. I like it. It's a nice song concept, and it's executed pretty well.
Alex,
I don't know. I wasn't super hot on it. I didn't like dislike it, but I found the beat kind of like claustrophobic in a way.
I
don't
get
know.
that.
Yeah, it's just like it's very busy, and like I just wasn't feeling it at the time. But like I totally understand the appeal, and I wasn't like upset about the song at all.
Yeah.
All right. Next song.
I liked it a lot. I fucked with it heavy.
Well, do
I
you
was
fuck?
like, yes, queen, slay. That's what I said.
Well, what do we fuck with this next song though? Number 7 on the list, G-Eazy featuring A$AP Rocky and Cardi B.
okay.
No Limit.
I hated this immediately. Like, getting to the features was an absolute chore, and then I didn't enjoy them, like, much at all. And, like,
So the
fact
song
that
came
A$AP
on,
Rocky
and I was
is
like,
calling-
oh shit, this slaps. And then I looked down and I was like, oh no, it's G-Eazy. And I was like, well,
See, that's the thing. Is like, so this
that I
song.
really enjoyed it. And I kind of felt bad because it was a G-Eazy song, but if I just like, I'm pretty sure the chorus was A$AP Rocky, right?
Yeah, the chorus was A$AP Rocky.
Yeah,
So like,
I was like, so for all intents and purposes, it wasn't really a G-Eazy song until the last like 10 seconds.
oh,
When
exactly.
like I heard
So
the damn Daniel line, and I was like, wait a minute.
that was exactly my experience.
But like
which is
the
that
Cardi
so
B
you
verse, flames. The A$AP Rocky stuff, flames. I really enjoyed it. I was like, yes.
That's the problem with the song. Like, it starts, and there's an A$AP Rocky chorus, and then there's a brief like a brief thing with G-Eazy where he just kind of repeats the same thing, whatever. And then there's a G verse. The first one is like, it's not good, but it goes by pretty quick, and there's nothing like that reminds me this is a G-Eazy song. And so I survived through the first G-Eazy verse, not hating the song, and it's like a pretty great beat, and the A$AP Rocky chorus is catchy, and then Cardi B has a fantastic verse, and I'm like, wow, that's like, so you start the song like, oh, fuck G-Eazy, so you're already in a bad mood, and then slowly the song, through mostly Cardi B and A$AP Rocky's work, is convincing me that this isn't a bad song. And then, as you said, G-Eazy immediately comes in and has a Damn Daniel line where he's about to say Damn Daniel, back at it again, and then like stops himself halfway through, and it's like, no, you still said it. The line is Damn Daniel, back with the ha Saint Laurent, they send me the product. Yeah, it's retarded. What?
I still quote Damn Daniel all the time, I'll be honest with you.
I mean, like,
I'm not gonna beat around the bush on this one.
It's just like,
yeah, but like,
why
it
reference it so? It's like, okay, it's like
the
fucking.
Jay-Z,
We'll talk about it later.
Line was a year late. When Jay-Z did it was like a year late, and that was like.
Wait, what did Jay-Z do?
The Jay-Z, he had a line on the Pusha T song where he says, "Damn Daniel, FBI brought the all-white vans through," which is pretty clever.
Oh, that's a great line. Great.
Yeah, but then this is just like the lazy version of that.
Or is it the woke version of it?
It's absurd that anyone is still calling anything retarded. And
Oh yeah,
like
insane.
Yeah, the only thing that I call retarded is my flame retardant blankets.
Can I talk about how about G-Eazy had a tweet of mine removed? Can we talk about it? So,
Wait, what?
yeah, about a month ago, I got an email from Twitter saying that we received a DMCA notice regarding your account. Apparently, G-Eazy had a tweet of mine taken down. It was a picture. So I have that tweet from back in the day where I called G-Eazy a neo-Nazi, and in the replies, I had a photo of him behind a Nazi flag. He looks like a neo-Nazi. He might as well.
Yeah.
Like, he literally he looks like like Richard Spencer, but more handsome. And more presentable.
Richard Spencer's a little bit handsome, and it really frustrates me.
Okay, let's not mention that again. Okay.
Let's not talk about Richard Spencer on the Indieheads podcast.
Yes, unless it's like, hey, he got punched again.
Dude.
So
that's the next time we'll talk about.
Hold on, wait. Somebody I followed on the anniversary of that went through and made a moment of his favorite ones. The Bruce Springsteen one, Born in the USA, still makes me fucking emotional. Seeing me get punched in the face to Born in the USA over and over and over again.
Okay, I made a mistake mentioning references, but let me continue. So this is the note I got. Unauthorized. No, we're not getting there yet, Jackson. We're not there yet.
I thought you were leading into the next.
No. I did not really get a chance to explain like what the fuck happened. So, unauthorized and offensive exploitation of a photo of Gerald Gillum, PKA g-eazy. By the way, his name is Gerald. Gerald Gillum.
No,
What a champion.
he references that in this song. There's a line in the song where he refers to himself as Young Gerald.
Yo, Young Gerald. That's definitely the name of my next starter Pokemon. That's for sure.
It's like sometimes rappers have like not that cool names, and then they use stage names to make themselves sound cool. But then like when you have a lame real name, you shouldn't reference it in the songs in a way where you're trying to make yourself sound cool. Like don't try to sell us on your lame name.
I can't wait till we find out that A$AP Rocky's birth name is Eugene.
And there's the fact that Kendrick Lamar's real last name is Kendrick Duckworth.
Yeah.
The guy's name is Clifford. You guys know that?
Wait, whose name is Clifford?
T.I.
I think he's mentioned that in a song. I feel like I knew that.
His name is Clifford Harris.
But anyways, I would say before we get to number 6, yes, g-eazy.
Yo, do you guys know what Nas's name is, though?
Who?
Nas.
What is it?
Fucking Nasir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know this. Jeremiah, this is like, we know this. Dude.
Anyways.
Okay, before...
What's number 7?
Number 6. Number 6, actually.
Oh.
Number 6... Jackson, I'll let you hit this one
Just
off.
a young gun
with a quick fuse. I was up night. I was
this-
up fuse.
This is Thunder by Imagine Dragons. So like this song is a song that I think it's been on the top 10 on episodes we've done before. I want to say.
That was
probably
I think it might have been Believer.
Oh, it was Believer. That's what it. Yeah, but anyways, Imagine Dragons are just bad. They're just not a good band.
Take that back.
Okay,
Jeremiah
so,
is going to be the only one defending them here, and I'm going to be...
I am a... Alright, look. I have a complicated relationship with Imagine Dragons because obviously Thunder is not a good song, and Believer makes my ears hurt, but at the same time, we can't just walk around acting like It's Time and fucking Amsterdam and fucking On Top of the World and fucking... Radioactive's pretty good. Demons got worse as when it was on the radio, and I was like, wait, this song's actually not that good. There's so many good songs on their debut album. When that shit came out, that was all I could listen to. For like 3 weeks, I was just listening to Imagine Dragons all the time.
Jeremiah, did you know...
So I got on that wave. No, I got on that wave before they blew up. I felt really proud of myself. Of course, it turns out I wasn't really on that wave because they were like,
not good once they blew up.
And kind of destined to... Okay, but actually, hold on. Their early EPs are fucking great. Hold on. There's one EP.
I'm trying to tell you a fun factoid that's going to make you like them
Hell
more.
in Silence.
Jeremiah, they recorded their first album and EPs in the Killer Studio in Las Vegas.
What? Hold on. Let me go find this song. This EP is so fucking good. I think it also has Amsterdam on it. Yeah, it's Hell in Silence.
The problem with
first of all, Amsterdam is a fucking phenomenal song.
So I will agree that some of the earlier material like has merits to it, but the problem is that they started like being pretty derivative of other like alt rock sounds, but it was like at least songs were okay, and now the songs aren't good, and they're even more derivative to like this very specific kind of alt rock radio song that they're constantly clearly trying to make.
But there's a song called Emma that they released. So good. Makes me lose my goddamn mind. Anyways.
They have podcasts lose all their credibility in 2018.
Hey, that's like...
Believer regularly on iHeartRadio. So I hear that at work.
Don't pretend that we like had any credibility. Let's be real.
That's true.
But anyways...
This song is bad. Oh my god. Fucking Jeremiah. Jesus Christ.
So
we do have credibility.
Alex, I think you were trying to say something.
I've decided that I shouldn't talk shit about Imagine Dragons because they're literally just 2010s Coldplay, and I like 2000s Coldplay, so I have like no leg to stand on.
I'd say Night Visions is 2010s Coldplay. Further, Imagine Dragons is kind of... They've strayed too far from the old play, if you ask me.
From the sacred Coldplay text.
They flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, but the thing about this song that I wanted to get into is that, like, so at first I'm like, oh wow, this song's bad. But it's become like there's a podcast I listen to where the song is like running kind of gag is that they play the song all the time, and I've heard this song so many times, but just like the first 5 seconds of it, where like that very beginning of the song has become a sort of meme where like it's kind of in the same way like the openings of song from the Mouth Moods album, the Neil Cicierega mashup, where just like all those first lines of songs that are like kind of silly when they're taken out of the context of the rest of the song. And that's how I feel about like the very beginning is of the just a young gun with a quick, like just saying that over and over again. I'm a fan of that. Actually listening to this song for more than 30 seconds it's gonna be a no from me, dog.
Talk about Believer for a second, because that song
it's worse.
That's
way worse.
I every time I hear it, I kind of try to wrap my head around it, and it's really hard for me to. But I've started picking out redeemable parts of it. So obviously the chorus is not redeemable, and the fact that it says first things first, and then second things second, third things third, last things last. That's not redeemable. That's a no.
It's a felony. Bad.
But there's some actually good lyrics in there. And the other thing that really here's the thing that pisses me off, but not in like a grr way, but in like a gosh darn it, I can't believe you got away with this way, is when he goes woo woo. He does the little like woo 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 thing. He does this little like ooh. I can literally see him doing it with his face is like turned a little bit to the left. His like eyes kind of closed. He kind of puts his hands up in the air in like a little stop thing. He's like woo. You can hear him like titting. I'm just like
I feel that.
You know what I mean? You hear that part, and I'm just like, I see him doing it.
This song, and it's a problem.
And I can see him moving side to side too to the beat and like stomping. And the dude with long hair is like, make me out, believe it. And I'm like, all right.
The best thing that Imagine Dragons have ever done was that one performance they did with Kendrick.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
The best thing they've ever done is this little song called Amsterdam.
Oh my god.
Just fucking nuts.
Okay.
The
song. Okay, I'm the host of this podcast, and I'm never allowed to speak. I'm never allowed to say a word. Okay, the song is not good. It's very not good. It's bad. I hate Imagine Dragons so much. I would individually throat punch every single Imagine Dragons member if I could. I would have them lined up like in a police line, and I would go up to all of them, and I would punch them all in the throat for the torture they've done and the irreversible damage that they've done to alternative radio in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think
they are a complete force for bad. Like them and 21 Pilots.
They are not the root cause. They're just a symptom.
They are a symptom, but I still want to throw punch in Jeremiah.
They're not the cause.
What is the cause then? What would you say is the cause? What would you say is the cause? I'm intrigued.
The cause is one of the best albums of all time.
The cause is actually
Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix. Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix is the thing that created this monstrosity.
No, it did not.
No, it is. Because it's not. This is nothing against Wolfgang.
It's Funeral and Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix. Those are the reasons why we're here.
Yeah, so
which is a bummer because Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix is maybe my favorite pop album of 2010.
Doesn't detract anything from WAP. Doesn't at all. It's just like a lot of, and pretty much all of the, it's all just it's kind of just stems from that. And so a lot of the stuff is good actually, especially like in the early 2000s or in the early 2010s. I was really big into alternative, and it was good. And it was kind of like it was around when 21 Pilots showed up it was when they started to adopt. So Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix had laid the groundwork for that synth pop sound, and there was a lot of great acts there, like Panama Wedding, Magic Man were some of my favorites. Friendly Fires are phenomenal. And then there was kind of, I don't know where the hip hop came from. I don't know where 21 Pilots got it from. I mean, it came from them.
They just decided that like hip hop needed to be put in this, yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, they took the WAP groundwork, and they just kind of put this kind of like hip hop boom in there. And then it just kind of created, that's what Believer is. Like, Believer is the distilled essence of that. Because you have
all of them just, they want to get like louder and more like anthemic but it just kind of like you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like, have you ever watched a movie where there's like an actor who's like, it's like a really important scene and they're trying to act better, but all they just do is just like yell louder instead of like they're like, oh, I need to act more, so they get louder.
Isn't
and
that
it's
just
like,
Leonardo DiCaprio's filmography?
No, I when I think of this, I think more of a Hayden Christensen in all the Star Wars movies. Whenever the scene is dramatic, he starts yelling louder, and that's like what they are. They're trying to get some emotion out of their songs, but they just end up making their instrumentation and their vocals just louder and more obnoxious instead of making them more like impactful in a meaningful way.
Which this song doesn't really do. There's not really that many. You don't really hear him yelling. He's not yelling. It's just the song is it's very lazy and annoying. Like you hear him and you can just tell that he's bored. He's bored because he has to yell. And
all the lyrics are very. I mean, the just a young gun with a quick feel. Like, how many rock songs in the last 20 years have started with some variation of like, I'm a young dude and I'm going out
like
there.
to have sex. Yeah,
whatever.
It's a nice Mormon boy. He doesn't have sex.
Yeah,
I think he's Mormon.
He's Mormon. Yeah, I think Imagine Dragons are Mormon.
Just like our Lord and Savior Brandon Flowers. Speaking of, isn't it fucked up that the new head of the Church of Latter-day Saints isn't Brandon Flowers?
It is.
I saw that news on Wikipedia and I was like, this is outrageous.
Oh, okay, my God. All right, Imagine Dragons Thunder 6. It's bad,
5.
folks. 5.
Moving on to 5. Is this the Cardi B?
No, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
This is Halsey, Bad at Love, and number 5.
This song's good.
It is good.
I think it's good.
I do like it.
I was like, this is good.
Yeah,
I was like, Halsey, this is character development.
Some of the lyrics at times have the very Halsey effect of like, yeesh. Like
the second verse where she's like, I'm bisexual, and you're like, I know. We knew this.
I mean, but no, not really that. More just like her kind of like, any time her personality shines through a little too much in your music, it's like, yeesh. This is not ideal. And like, if the chorus of the song, like, oh, this didn't work out, and this, I guess I'm just bad at like I don't know. Whatever that sentiment kind of like rubs me the wrong way. I don't know, like
it's very unself-aware.
But in general,
it's very not like looking within.
I actually think it's quite tongue in cheek. I think she's more self-aware than we give her credit for. I just think that she panders to an audience that isn't self-aware, and so she comes off appearing unself-aware. But in turn, that kind of adds an entire new reflective element. And I think she's doing good, honestly.
The thing is,
when I was listening to it, I was picturing who would be listening to this and like really enjoying it, and I was just picturing like, I don't know, like high schoolers, maybe sophomore or junior year, and they're just kind of like struggling, and I was like, you know what, Halsey,
this would probably work for them.
Go, exactly. Girl. I mean, obviously, like she's committed some irredeemable sins, like New Americana, smoking Biggie and Nirvana. Wait, no.
That's New Americana. That's New Americana.
Raised on Biggie and Nirvana, smoking legal marijuana. That's
it's bad.
No.
Yeah,
that's bad.
This song is good. The part of the song I don't like is.
I mean, the only issue is that when I was listening to it, I was like, I couldn't help but feel like I'd just rather be listening to like Lana Del Rey. But I get that because of like the fact that I watched Molly's Game recently, and literally Jessica Chastain and Lana Del Rey are like the same person, except Jessica Chastain has red hair. Bothered me.
Doesn't Lana Del Rey have kind of reddish hair?
It's like more brown now, I'd say.
It's like dirty blonde.
It has been more red at certain points in her career.
It's been red. I mean, it's been red at some points, and at other points it's been more brown. I don't know.
Either way, being Halsey song, yeah, like. The second verse is a little rough. The got a girl with California eyes. I thought she could really be the one this time, but I never got the chance to make her line because she fell in love with little white lines. That's not good.
I mean,
actually, no,
that's kind of a clever line. That's kind of a clever line.
The little white lines part, I was like, oh.
That's pretty good. That example fell flat on its face. If you're trying to make it out to be bad, because I actually kind of think that's kind of a clever line.
I didn't like it personally. That was I did like, however, the very beginning of the song, which says, "Got a boy back home in Michigan, and he tastes like Jack when I'm kissing him." I'm like, my name is almost Jack, and I live in Michigan. This is the cool lyric right here. This is relatable content. And then she started talking about people live in other states that I don't live in, and I was like, I don't relate to this anymore. This is garbage. That's how I judge all my songs, is if they directly relate to my situation or not.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this song, it came at a good time, because I will not describe what happened, but I just had, like, I was talking with somebody, and then I was not talking to them.
Oh no, is Matty relating to the Halsey song?
Sadly so. Like I said.
No, it's okay. I related to it as well.
The bad love part, that was like, man, fuck. That's hey man, I relate to that sentiment. But at the same time, it's like also you also need like it's sort of in time of like it's that moment where you're not ready to self-reflect just yet. You just want to be like kind of you don't want to blame yourself just yet. You never want to blame yourself.
You need to be able to indulge in that. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to heal correctly.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. The one part of that I don't like is in the chorus when she says, "You were the one that could finally fix me," and it's just like the kind of the sentiment of like, "Oh, I'm bad at relationships, but there is this one who's gonna like fix the problems." And like, I know I'm like way over analyzing a pop song right now, and I just need to stop. But like, I don't know. I personally. Like I understand that feeling is a feeling that you need to feel sometimes, but also part of me just wants to be like, stop just like blaming it on some problem with you that's out of your own control, and look at your own actions. But that's just me being hyper analytical with that. It's a good song. This could have been New Americana, and so for that I'm grateful. This is basically my summary of my feelings on this.
Also, Closer, Chainsmokers and Halsey. It's a good song. It's a good song.
Wait,
it's a good song.
Okay,
I don't care.
now.
We've thought about this before, and I will say it again. I think it's a good song.
Hold on. Nobody talk. Closer by Chainsmokers featuring Halsey is a fucking incredible song.
There we go. There we
go.
So good. There
we
go.
So good. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I really wanted to dislike the song, and so every time it would come on, I'd be like, ugh, Closer. But because I just like felt like I was obliged to hate something that had Chainsmokers and Halsey on it, and like also because Nate loved it so much, and it's literally just like a millennial anthem that really pissed me off because Nate was like, I relate heavily to this, and I was like, God damn it, Nate, you fucking asshole. But it's actually so good, and it's such a challenging song because I listened to it, and I say challenging, and it's completely challenging because it like challenges me every time I listen to it. It forces me just to confront the fact that I'm like listening to Closer, and everything about it is like it's really pleasant. I know it's dumbed down, but it's really enjoyable, and every time it comes on the radio, I'm like, hey, yeah, buddy. And like it's so good. And the line in the second Halsey's verse is fucking awesome when she's like, and now I'm looking pretty in a cocktail bar, which that's that line. There's so much in there. That shit makes me lose my fucking goddamn mind. I was thinking about that in the shower, and I was like, fuck. What? And it's like, it's a really, it always, every single time I hear it, it's not a song that's passive in the background.
It's very captivating. Because
you can't ignore it.
It's not simple. It's not a simple like dumbed down version. Well, it's kind of dumbed down, but it's still like a very like it actually does feel like they're talking about a real relationship. It doesn't feel like it's like full of cliches. There's little details in there. It's like
goofy and stupid.
It's goofy. It's totally goofy and stupid. But like
the whole like that tattoo on your shoulder and the rover shit like that. You're just like, well, millennials. But
it's sometimes too detail oriented.
It really forces you to engage with it, which is part of the reason why it's so frustrating for a lot of people, because it feels like it has to be something that is shallow, because that's kind of like what it presents itself as. It has to be shallow, right? It just has to be. That's just like what it like by virtue of the fact that it's a Chainsmokers and Halsey song. It has to be shallow, and it makes you confront that. So whether or not it's shallow is besides the point. What's important is that it fucking smacks you in the face, and it's like, "Hey, asshole!" And you're like, "God damn it!" So whether or not you like think that the contents are shallow, which I'm not sure. I haven't decided if they're shallow or not yet. I haven't gotten to that point in my study, but like, it's as far as a document that like interacts with the listener, it's wholly unique on pop radio because it really just like it's just like fuck you nerd. Boop, 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 boop. And you're like, yeah. Also, side note, the Chainsmokers Coldplay song is also really good.
Oh,
so I know. I won't. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Here's my thing about the Chainsmokers is that the Chainsmokers like this. I feel like, in my opinion on this song specifically "Closer" featuring Halsey by the Chainsmokers, like the reason why it's ear grabbing is not, I think, because it's challenging. I think it's because it's a bad melody and your ears are like, there's something slightly off about this that I
wasn't. It's very enjoyable. I enjoy hearing the melody.
I don't. Like when it comes on, like even before like the verses are in, I'm just like, I don't want to hear this. Like there's you can choose to hate this song because of all of
what have I done.
Give in. Just like let it just surrender to it.
You could hate this song because of all of the like things around it that are easy to hate. Or you could hate it because if you take it out of context, like just the song itself, I just do not like. I don't like listening to it. I don't like hearing it. It's really just like plain and simple not a song I enjoy, and I'm not choosing to do that. It would be better for my life if I could enjoy this song, because there was a period of time, and thank God we're past that period, but there was like a year and a half of college where I could not go to a party without hearing this song, and I 0 times enjoyed hearing it, even when
I also hated that,
enjoy it.
But that was foolish of me. I now know. I'm now enlightened, and I now know better than to hate it.
The other thing is that, like, if there's an artist who's making music I don't like, and it feels like I could put in more labor to try to get myself to like this, but because it is made by the Chainsmokers, why the hell would I do that? Is the thing. It's like, why would I put in more effort to try to enjoy something that has now fallen out of popularity? And yeah, I don't like it.
Here's another important take for you. This is definitely one of the best songs of the decade.
Closer?
That's
yeah, or at least in a Pitchfork top 10 way. Like in like a personal top 10, obviously there's like.
I mean, I will say it would be a song that's very remembered.
We're making the new Pitchfork, like the Neo Pitchfork, making that top 10. Like this has got to be song 7. You know, it's got to be there.
I'm just a little mad that like this is a song I'm gonna think about when I think about my college experience. This will be one of the songs I think about, along with like Mr. Brightside.
And all day.
Okay. I think we covered. I regret mentioning.
And Halsey.
I regret.
What's the second? The next song is the next song is the Cardi B Bruno Mars song, right?
Yes.
That shit
it is indeed. The next song on the list is Finesse by Bruno Mars and Cardi B, which is I would pick it as my favorite on the top 10.
I would agree.
Which by the way is probably like the third time that a Bruno Mars song has top 10 for me, because
Bruno Mars is great.
We've had this dialogue on pretty much every Billboard episode, because he's always been on the Billboard when we've done this, and also we've done it after. I remember the Grammys cast when he did the Prince tribute. Bruno Mars is just like a great entertainer, and like the bit behind this song in particular was like, we're gonna bring back that 90s like
New Jack
like
Swing, baby. New Jack Swing, baby. I've been saying for years, and it's gonna come back. I'm saying, when is the New Jack Swing revival gonna happen? And it seems like it's finally happening.
I don't think there's gonna be a whole revival around this, but like I really love having a song that is just like, we're gonna go full in on nostalgia, but we're just gonna like do it in a way that is clearly not like just trying to mine nostalgia from something for just purely like. It seems like there's a lot of like love put in, like the Cardi B verse feels like, oh, I used to love listening to songs that sounded like this, and now she's getting to do it, and it's super fun and exciting. You can tell that like from the music video and also the song, they're just having a fucking great time making this. Like they're having the best time doing this little ditty, and it's just like, if you're like listening to this and frowning, there's just something I think wrong with you, because it's just very fun and joyful, and the music video looks, they really go all in on the nostalgia factor of it. They're all wearing like very brightly colored 90s jumpsuits and things, and it looks like the set of like West Side Story or something. It's like very, very I loved the video a lot, and I thought that this was just like it's just like good that this exists. I'm glad that Bruno Mars and Cardi B have already, and also this was like further proof. Like Cardi B has yet to drop like a bad verse since, but she hasn't done a whole lot. Which she's personally said, like she said, I don't want to drop an album right away because I want my first album to be like good, which is probably a smart decision to just kind of wait on that. But in general, I'm very pro this song and Cardi B as a pop star. So yeah.
This song made me really upset that iHeartRadio has a strict like no rap music policy because it's catered towards like white moms. And this is considered rap because I was like, if this song came on the radio at work, I would be fucking grooving. It was just a great listen. I just really enjoyed it.
That is, I think, one of the things I've noticed, like the really big like trend of 2017 is like I think in like late 2016, kind of then all of 2017 has been like the real like advent of streaming as this like real juggernaut. Like streaming's been around for a while, but like in the past I would say 2 years, like streaming as the primary way to listen to music, like surpassing radio as the way that people listen to like new music, has skyrocketed. Because now with streaming, like there's the top streaming charts, and there's also like all these curated playlists, which is where people find their music now instead of like through the radio. And because of that, like I think the rise of that, along with the rise of hip hop, like real rap music being in pop music, I think those are 100% like correlated, because now you don't have to be like clean, because like think about the fact that like one of the biggest pop songs of last year is a song. What's the first line of Bodak Yellow? The very first lyric is like super duper explicit,
if
and the
these
fact
bitches
that like
fuck with me, I don't want them to. Da, da, da.
Yeah, exactly. Like, little bitch, you can't fuck with me if you wanted to. That's the first line of like one of the biggest pop songs of the year, and that's just like super wild that can happen. And the reason why that can happen is because of streaming. So like because like these coordinated playlists can have the explicit tag on them, and because they can just have anything beyond there, it's like never an issue really for labels. And so labels with the streaming kind of platform, they're able to market like music that was considered quote unquote too street for radio or whatever. And that's like one of the positive aspects of this streaming change in pop music, because
now,
it's like Migos couldn't have been pop stars 4 years ago.
I have to step in because I have to share my personal experience, which I've now learned working where I do, which is that streaming is still an exception. Not in the sense everybody streams nowadays, and it's objectively like the biggest, like that's true, but because the whole thing with radio is that it's omnipresent, and iHeartRadio is really like, their existence has been really good for radio because they've just been able to step in and be like, all right, here we are. We're just going to own all the variety stations. And they do. So where do you stream? You stream in private, essentially. You know? Like it's...
Yeah.
But radio is wherever you go. And so that's where radio and pop music have a really interesting... I was thinking about this today, and that's part of the reason why I really wanted to be on this podcast, is because I was realizing that, like, pop music, there's a dynamic of pop music which is lost when you stream, and that's the inherently capitalistic nature of it, which does not mean what you think it means. I don't mean like that it's like, oh, it's about like making, but it's an illusion of choice. Pop music is. Because I was listening to these songs, and I realized that I was listening to them, and then after like song 9, I was like, you know what? I was like, wait, I can actually choose to be listening to something else. It was like a really bizarre moment. And I realized the only song, we'll get to that later when we talk about the song, but pop music presents an illusion of choice, and streaming services present an additional illusion of choice.
Yeah.
But one that is a bit more distilled, like a little bit more. You get to actually choose a little bit.
Yeah.
But listening to the radio at work all the time, I understand it perfectly, because it perfectly mirrors just the everyday, like, wake up, go to work-ness of life. Like, let's, for example, the radio station, they play, like, 80s, 90s, and today's. And sometimes, every so often, they play, like, Dancing in the Dark. And I lose my fucking shit. I, like, start, like, falling behind the line.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's going on over there? And I'm like, ah! And then that's a thing that's happening, right? And
I really do like to imagine Jeremiah at work, like, in a suit, just howling because Dancing in the Dark has come on the radio. Like, he's uncontrollably howling like a wolf. No, but I completely get what you mean. It's like, I think part of the difference between, like, radio and streaming is, like, when I'm listening to, like, these songs, like, to listen to them for this podcast, like, oh, I've got to go listen to all the Billboard songs and, like, have opinions on them. When you're listening to, like, the Imagine Dragons song, like, you're reminded of the fact that you have all of the music ever recorded at your fingertips. Like, I could go listen to Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen right now. Yeah. Nothing is stopping me from doing that. But as opposed to, like, on the radio, where it's like, when you're listening to something on the radio, it's like, well, this isn't that great, but because I didn't pick it and it's not that bad, you have a lot more tolerance for it because someone else has selected it for you. And, like, but I think the change that I've noticed is, like, I agree with you with the whole private versus more public thing, but I think the thing is that a lot more now, I think people find the songs they like on streaming and then hear them on the radio, as opposed to the radio being the place where, like, tastes are made as much. I don't think that's as much of a phenomenon. I think now it's like people listen to, like, whatever Spotify, like, generated playlist they like. Maybe it's like Fun Party or something like that. Like, there's all those, like, Spotify playlists that are, like, named after, like, moods or situations, or then there's, like, the top rising and the top charts, and then there's, like, stuff like Rap Caviar that's, like, really, really popular. And, like, I feel like people
disagree with this theory for one reason, which is the fact that Shape of You by Ed Sheeran exists. And that sounds like a massive burn, right, towards Ed Sheeran, but it's not. The thing with Shape of You is that never in my fucking life do I want to, like, go out and listen to that song. But when it comes on the radio, I'm like, banger, you know? And, like, it's a song that, I think for me, that song actually perfectly encapsulates the illusion of choice that is inherent in the radio, because, like, who in their right mind chooses that song? You don't. I hear it on the radio and I enjoy it, though, you know? And what it does is it's just this, I don't know, it's hard to say this in a way that doesn't make me sound like, wake up, sheeple. But it's like,
just do
it. It just mirrors the mundaneness of the working life, and that's kind of where radio will always be a soundtrack. That's where it'll always be. Streaming is perfect for, like, high school and college when you're actually, like, you actually have control. But now that I've, like, gone on to work in a bank where we listen to pop music for some reason, I just, like, it's just the perfect mirror and the perfect vehicle for just what I'm feeling. And that every so often they play, like, Tainted Love by Soft Cell, and I lose my shit. And I just want to tell the customer who's in front of me that Sex Dwarf exists. And I realize that I can't tell them that Sex Dwarf exists. Or, like, they play Don't You Want Me Baby, and I'm like, Dare by the Human League is one of the most important albums I've ever made. I'm losing my mind. You know, it's like, but it's those moments, and they're few and far between, and the songs in between aren't necessarily good. Sometimes they're really bad and make me really upset. That's rare, but sometimes that happens. But it's just kind of, I just submit to it, you know?
All right, I think we can have this conversation for a while. Yeah, we could go on.
Radio and the charts make the part of the illusion of choice, which is inherent in capitalism, inherent in the radio, is that we think that we like to act that we have choices, but we don't actually have choices, because we have to buy food. We have to, like, live somewhere. Otherwise, we'll just die. You know. And the radio kind of plays.
We do need to
moving on.
Move on.
Finesse Bruno Mars Cardi B.
Next.
It's a very good song. I like it a lot. We didn't talk about the song at all, and it's fucking good. You guys talking about again? Yep.
So my quick take on this song is, and I really genuinely don't mean this in a bad way. It sounds like a really great High School Musical song. Okay, that's all I have to say.
I agree with that. Like, this song, it would absolutely go off in like a high school dance where, and it's like a movie, and now all of a sudden, like, all the people at the high school dance are doing like a coordinated like choreography routine as like the main characters are having some kind of conversation. Like, it's very like, it's cheesy in the most enjoyable way.
All right, I think we're good. Number 3.
Next song.
Number 3. That White Devil, Post Malone, featuring 21 Savage, Rockstar.
So, I really strongly feel that Post Malone is the punishment for all our sins, and and he isn't going away, and it's just like the rapture has happened, folks. We're still here. We're in hell. And we're in hell with this man, and he's talking about popping pillies, and I'm just feeling nauseous.
Okay, I mean, I feel like we need to Jeremiah, can I right quick? I feel like we should preempt this discussion with an Earl Sweatshirt tweet. Just heard the song White Iverson. Who mans is this? LOL. Who let this slide? I feel like that right away tells you everything you know about Post Malone.
We have an answer to that question, and the man who let this slide is fucking Kanye.
That is true.
I can count the number of things I'm actually mad at Kanye for on one hand, and like this is one of the big ones.
I don't think the fade
Post
feature.
Malone to the world. He let him run wild.
No, I think the Post Malone tidal wave was coming either way, because it's like, I think so. Like, as at first I was like, nah, fam, because I like looked at him for 5 seconds and just developed the opinion that you should about him. But then like over time, like I was like, well, I do like some of these songs on this album, Stoney, and it was like fun to enjoy when he like wasn't the biggest like pop star in the world, when he was just like some dude that was like off to the side of it. And I was like, well, I like enjoying this. This is fun. This is goofy. Some of these melodies are good. He's got like an alright voice. But then like once he became like this huge like star, and then we start to see like the cultural ramifications of choosing to make this guy a rap star, and I was like, oh no, this has been a terrible mistake. And I think my relationship with this song is very similar to that, where like the first time I heard this song, I really liked it. It was right before I was like gonna DJ. Like I was playing like a frat party, and I was getting paid to do it. So I was like, all right, let me look up the pop radio. And that was like right when Rockstar came out. I was like, all right, let me check this on. And I liked it a lot, and I played it, and it was a good time or whatever. I've never had a song go stale that I enjoyed initially like faster than this one. It's like it was really kind of nocturnal, and it's got the whole sound going on. You're like, oh, this is nice. And then just like by second or third listen, you're just like, wait, there's just like nothing here. And my other opinion about this song is that I like 21 Savage. I genuinely do. I do not want him featured on things for the most part, because like the thing that I come to listen to for 21 Savage is like very specific. Like I want to listen to like No Heart, or like some like I want to listen, or like Numb from the new, like I want to listen to like a hard ass like completely like full nihilistic drug rap song. I don't want to hear him pop in on this Post Malone pop rap song. Like it's like no, you don't belong here, 21 Savage. You have like one thing that you're really good at, and like I don't want to hear any part of you on this as well. And then Post Malone stuff is just like very forgettable, and like I like some of the vocal choices he makes, like the like that, those melodies he puts into some of his lyrics are like nice. Those are good vocally, but like they don't make up for the cultural disaster that kind of is everything else about him.
So the thing is like if any other artist did this song, it would have been so much better and more enjoyable. But but just there he is, like, on the hook and in the verses, and it's just a problem.
Yeah, and it, like, my opinion about him now, like, after a whole year of just, like, definitely too much exposure to him, is that, like, you should just lean all the way into pop sensibilities and also, like, other kinds of music. Like, when he had made the comment about, like, I don't come to rap to listen to real shit. I listen to other genres of music, and rap is just meant to be this party or whatever. It's clear that, like, because he as a person does not see rap music as, like, a platform at which, like, great art can be created, there is going to be that inherent ceiling on his own art when he just chooses to make music within the genre of rap. And that's why all of his music is just, like, not quite reaching the potential that maybe it could, because he's, like, clearly, like, a pretty talented dude, but, like, just generally sucks. And should definitely take a shower and log offline and reconsider like his relationship to hip hop culture.
Okay, here's my opinion on Post Malone. Here's my opinion. Load.
Are you gonna?
That's my opinion on Post Malone. He's. Hang on, let me play it one more time. One more time in case you missed it. There you go.
Is that he's fat?
That's from Scott Steiner of Professional Wrestling. Here's the thing. Okay, I want to talk about Post Malone. I have two analogies. One works a bit more, but you guys probably won't get it, and one that you guys might disagree with. But I'm gonna just throw them out both there. Here are my takes. Hang on, I spoiled it a little bit. Post Malone is the Roman Reigns of the hip hop world, and that they keep trying to push him, like, Post Malone, he's this new superstar in the rap world, and you're just like, no, I don't believe him as a like a rapper, like, whatsoever. Or alternatively, this one it's not as well rooted, but I will say it's like the Rick and Morty of rap, but I think it's just mainly his fan base. It's mainly it's that fuck Ethan Klein at H3H3 who convinced a bunch of guys who would normally not like Post Malone to like Post Malone. And fuck Ethan Klein real quick.
How did he do that?
Because Post Malone's on his podcast all the time, and they're friends and shit.
What?
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So Ethan Klein can
Post
suck
Malone's
my dick from the
a
back.
gamer. Post Malone games on the internet. Sometimes you can go watch. I've never watched Post Malone game because I don't have patience for that. But apparently that's the thing he does.
So my take on this song was I was driving and it came on and I was like, this whips. But also the main takeaway was that I was coming down off of an entire pot of coffee and my body was just like jittering. And it was kind of like, and I was going through like the post-coffee or post-amphetamines, whatever you want to say. Like, I was just kind of like phasing in and out. And the song was just like, it's just druggy and slow, but also like interesting enough. And I was just kind of like, damn, I'm really feeling this right now. And I was like, I recognize full well that this is like, it doesn't matter if this song is shallow or not, but I'm like, I'm feeling it. That's my official take, is that like, I enjoyed it on my first listen.
Yeah. All right. There's not much more to say about this, just because the problem with this song is that there's just not a lot even here to like. The beat was like there was like some fan who like tweeted a beat at him and he was like, yo, this is a great beat. Like it was some amateur dude who like made this beat, and like you can tell that by the way that it like vaguely sounds like a lot of things you've heard from producers before, but doesn't really embody any of them specifically or well enough to entertain you for more than like a listen. It's great. It's good to throw on at a party, and outside of that, I have no patience for it anymore.
Yeah. Number 2. God. Speaking of white devils, Ed Sheeran, perfect at number 2. I say this about Post Malone, but Ed Sheeran is more of a white devil than Post Malone, I will say, in a lot of ways.
Much worse.
I've ranted about Ed Sheeran on almost every single Billboard podcast, and in preparation for this one, I actually dictated like a 5-paragraph rant to my phone while I was driving tonight, But most of it is completely unreadable because just I haven't used Dick a lot and my phone isn't.
You haven't used Dick a lot?
But like Ed Sheeran, he's a piece of shit. He makes bad music. I'm sad that we're still talking about him, like, considering how much I've talked about him on all of these podcasts. Like, I feel like you might get the impression that I enjoy this, but I really absolutely do not. I am just someone with the poor, like just absolute misfortune of having to every few months get on this podcast and talk about this, like, redheaded goon. I don't like him, and I can't even imagine the kind of, like, terrifying rituals that were involved into giving Ed Sheeran the level of success that, like, he has today. And I think inevitably, like, in maybe 10 years or so, there's going to be, like, a basement torture chamber found with, like, human remains and Ed Sheeran, like, written in blood on the walls, and there's just gonna be a really, like, gruesome public investigation into all of this, and it will end up with a lot of people in the music industry behind bars, and Ed Sheeran will disappear forever.
Yeah.
I enjoy this song.
Jeremiah, shut up, Jeremiah. No.
Jeremiah, have you liked every song on this? Oh, you didn't like Thunder, but then you repeatedly defended Imagine Dragons as a concept.
Yeah. Thunder's a bad song, but Imagine Dragons are great. I mean, they were great.
No, but here's my thing about this song, which is that I was listening to it, and I was like, there are probably like 5 artists who you could have told me this song was by and I would have believed you. Like, the fact that he's, like, so popular and everywhere, and I have heard Ed Sheeran songs played on the radio and in public places, like, so many times, and the fact that I still could not pick his voice out of a lineup if, like, I had never heard the songs before, like, is baffling. And, like, honestly, I would rather listen to some generic, like, white dude with a guitar that just was, like, really bland. And, like, I would rather listen to, like, Shawn Mendes or some other, just give me, like, a white first name and give him a guitar, and I'd probably rather listen to that guy than Ed Sheeran, because I just don't understand, like, what part of, like, his shtick people find charming, because every part of it just makes me, like, want to gag a little bit. Like the chorus of the song is... The
thing is, that Ed Sheeran is marketed to the undertapped demographic of Christian conservative girls who have, quote, got a bit of a wild side but still love Jesus in all their social media bios.
Also, moms. This is totally targeted.
Oh, this is a mom song. This is totally a mom song.
Yeah, it's very much a mom song.
Also, yeah, like, it's... like, every Ed Sheeran song has, like, 3 songs on it that are, like, sweet love songs that, like, moms like to listen to and imagine that their daughters are into this. It's like, oh, this is a sweet boy. I'd let my daughter listen to this guy. I like him a lot. But
okay.
Not those rappers. Like, that's like the next sentence out of this imaginary audience's mouth.
All right, I will say, okay,
is something vaguely racist about rap music.
Okay. I want to mention this song. The reason why it's so high up on the list on the Billboard, it was number 1 for a couple weeks, was because there's a remix with Beyonce, and I want to send a message out there to Beyonce. This is an open letter. Of all the fucking British boys you could have made famous, all right, you had James Blake on your fucking album. You could have gave James Blake a song in the Billboard Top 10, and what do? You give it to you give it to that fucking Muppet Ed Sheeran.
Here's the thing. The thing is that in the last year, Beyonce has realized that she is such a incredible, like, force of nature of music that she could drop about 30 duds before anyone started to question her legitimacy as an artist. She's like, oh, I should definitely take this $500,000 check from Ed Sheeran and this $1 million check from Eminem to be on their songs. Like, she's gotten to the point where there is zero lost if she's on a shitty Ed Sheeran or Eminem song. And, like she was on that Eminem song, which completely flopped commercially and was like garbage musically, and no one for a second dared bat an eye, because like if you say anything bad about Beyonce on the internet, like hawks will swoop into your home and like take you away, like the scene in Lord of the Rings.
I'm coming after you, brother. I'm coming to you, brother.
No, yeah, but that's the thing, is like life is too short to not take large sums of money to make pop songs that people will forget about in a year. So like I don't fault Beyonce for a second.
I don't feel bad. No,
selling out is the way. 2018.
Basically, if she does this, but then makes like another Lemonade, like I don't care. Like do this
exactly.
If she makes another Lemonade, cool, great. If this gets you the funds, gets you the whatever to do the Lemonade, please, great. But like also, for the love of God, can you get James Blake a hit on the top 10? I want James Blake to be like fucking massive. He deserves it. All right. Like
speaking of
the song the song on her album is great, by the way. But
I think it's very telling that Ed Sheeran's attempt at a Tender song is basically just like a laundry list of like every heteronormative ideal.
It's literally like a Charlie Puth song from like 2015. Like this is just it's got that doo-wop kind of. I feel like I've heard this song 100 times before. And here's the thing. As much as we hate Shape of You, and I hate Shape of You, at least it's a unique kind of bad. It's a bad that is like very, very. It's unique to Ed Sheeran. Like that song is bad in ways that only Ed Sheeran can be bad. This is just bad in a very generic, boring way, and that makes it worse for me.
Yeah, the one thing that makes the song objectively better than Shape of You is that he doesn't talk about having sex in the song, which, Jesus Christ, thank God, I cannot listen to Ed Sheeran talk about sex ever. One, because the mental image of that is just a horrible thing, and the other thing is that he talks about sex with like the charisma of someone who has like vaguely heard about people talking about sex before and has like picked up. I feel Ed Sheeran's definitely like an alien who like sees things that like very white heteronormative people like, and then like through his act of telephoning, like, okay, I think I get the gist of this, and then he does it vaguely enough that people are like, oh yeah, this is like me, but like clearly there's something just enough off because he's from another planet and like does not understand human customs.
He's got a defective human head, like a very like it's like they gave him a human mask and it's defective. It's like this is the only one we got left, buddy. Sorry, you're gonna have to make do with it.
Ever since the last Billboard podcast, I have not stopped thinking about the fact that Alex pointed out how dead his eyes are, and it creeps the fuck out of me every time I see him. It's so weird.
Here's man. Ed Sheeran is Invader Zim, based off of Matty's description, and I 100% believe it. I think there's a lot of like foundation
parallel
support for this theory, and that we should explore it later sometime with more research and.
We should.
Okay, so here's our list of Ed Sheeran theories, real quick. The two main ones. Number one, Ed Sheeran is a part of some Illuminati cult, and he's probably been. He's definitely in association with a lot of murders of people, and he's gonna disappear one day because he's an accomplice. And two, he's an alien with a defective mask, and that we somehow think is normal. And number three, our theory.
It's possible that both are true.
This is true. It's possible both are true.
And the third theory is that Ed Sheeran is actually good.
Here's the thing. I will say.
This one is highly theoretical.
I want to say.
Highly theoretical.
I want to say, Jeremiah. I do agree with Jeremiah to an extent because I do think Ed Sheeran has good songs. Before we get to our number one, because I know Jackson, you wanted to talk about this. Before we get to our number one, I want to say the last good Justin Timberlake song was by Ed Sheeran. It's the one he did with Pharrell back in like 2014. I think it's a good song. Also, Castle on the Hill is also a pretty good song. It's like the only good song.
I want to talk about this song for a second because I haven't gotten the chance to talk about it. I've restrained myself because I'm a good boy, but I think it's actually enjoyable. I think the instrumentation is bad. I think it's obviously bad, and I think it's bad. But I think he has some great vocal melodies, and you know what? I enjoyed listening to it. It was cliche and like silly, and I really enjoyed it a lot more before Alex put the picture of like Christian teenagers in my head, because I like to imagine that it was like normal people, But now that they actually point out that they're like Christian girls, I'm like, oh yeah, this is awful. Oh god, this is like Taylor Swift, like early Taylor Swift. But like, it had some good vocal melodies. I enjoyed it. It comes on the radio sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? This is okay. This is fine.
The issue I have like at the core of the song is that like it's an exact like specific brand of love song that like is made for people that like use these like arbitrary societal values of like what a good like the kinds of people who like, oh, I'm in a good relationship because I like buy flowers for my girlfriend. Like,
you know what this is?
These gestures.
You know what it is? It's country music for people who
don't like country music.
Say they don't like country music, because that's what country music's all about. Like,
yeah,
it's all about
like
loving
these,
your
like
your
all.
girl.
Yeah, like all the signifiers of like ways that he loves his girl are like I love a good, sweet, simple love song. Like there's no one who doesn't enjoy that. But the fact like all like dancing in the dark with you barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song, which is like all they're just
favorite song.
I can't.
He delivers the line well. The lines are terrible, but he delivers them well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just.
But the main takeaway is that he's a Lannister. Can we talk about that? Remember when you were watching that Game of Thrones episode and you heard some guy singing? And then Arya sits down and then he like takes off his helmet and it's fucking Ed Sheeran.
Did he deactivate his Twitter account because people hated it, like were just shitting on him?
I literally could not breathe when that happened. I knew that he was going to be in an episode, but I didn't really know like that it was going
I honestly wish that they had made it like even worse for comedic. Like I wish that he had like taken off his like helmet and then like walked up on stage and began like performing Shape of You in its entirety. Like that would have.
Hi,
that would have been the funniest
Sheeran.
thing.
I'm on Game
My
of
favorite
Thrones,
thing is that he says push and pull like a cactus too. Instead of magnet, I say cactus.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Do
you want to move on to the number one?
Do you want to get to our number one, or do you want to talk about the thing that I was trying to alert to earlier?
So you were trying to set me up for the Justin Timberlake thing, which
yes.
I'll be brief about, which is oh boy, does Justin Timberlake either not know what he's doing or have a the answer is he has a idea of what he's doing and it's just not a good one, and he's definitely about to drop his worst album. I mean, the songs themselves they range from really bad, which is Filthy, to songs like Supplies that are just very boring, and then the music video for Supplies is the worst thing, and it's so bad. It's like comic
I would
bad.
argue it's kind of opposite. Like, I think Filthy is fine, but Supplies is like the worst song I've heard in the past 6 months.
It's the Supplies chorus. Like the beat on it that just sounds like someone heard a Pharrell beat like 3 blocks down playing at a house party and is like, oh, I can make one of those, and then made the beat for Supplies, which was an actual Pharrell beat, but one that he
knockoff Migos ad-libs. Like, it's so bad in so many ways, and like
every like impulse he had about where he wanted to take his music next, they were all bad in a vacuum. Like they're just plain bad, and then they're extra bad in like the context of where the world and also music are today. Like when we first got the images of the album, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a knockoff Bon Iver album for people who don't like who for pop sensibilities. And I was like, sure, like I'm fine with that. But then
was that?
Yeah, exactly. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna dunk on this a little bit because it seems so like. And there's like I saw the Chris Stapleton features, like, oh, it'll be more country. I'm like, I'm fine. It probably won't be for me, but I was like fine with that. And now I'm like, oh, please give me that back, because whatever he decided Man of the Woods meant to him, no. Just no. And I don't think we need to go into it, because there's a reason why we're not talking about this album today or any of the singles, because none of them are doing, like, Filthy is like 20 on the list, I think.
I feel like we should do an album commentary on it. It seems like it's a disaster in a way that would be fun to talk about as it happens.
The fact that the singles have such like cringeworthy bits on it, and it's like a pretty long album with like some other song titles that are just setting off the stink detector in terms of this looks pretty questionable over here. There's a song on the album called Flannel. Just to remind everyone of that. It's literally called Flannel.
It's a tribute.
That's a huge
It's a tribute to Anthony Fantano and his yellow flannel.
Hey, speaking of things that are not that, which is bad, this is good.
Yes.
Is the number one song on the Hot 100 is a song called Havana. It's by Camila Cabello, and it's featuring Young Thug. So here's my thoughts about this song. Young Thug is on the number one single in the country. That is good. That is good. That is good for the universe that is happening. I support Young Thug getting money and being culturally relevant at all times. Camila Cabello, I've heard a couple songs from her. In most of them, she's very boring and very uninteresting, and just generally sounds like any kind of pop/modern R&B singer out there right now. But I will say that on this particular song, her Hispanic heritage, I don't know exactly whereabouts her family's from, but she really does the stuff that she does vocally on this song.
It says it's in the song. It's literally
Cuba.
It's literally in the song.
She is from Cuba. That's true. Wow, I feel dumb now. Anyways, point being, this song is really good, and it's catchy, and it embodies a lot of the things that the radio is about these days, but without being boring and flat. And it's
got such a confidence to it. Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's got such a confidence and a swagger to it, and the beat has just this great back and forth, and normally I'm not to this sound, but this is just a really great, enjoyable song.
Yeah. So this song is what helps me go full circle in what I was in my tinfoiling that I was doing earlier, which is that this song is fucking awesome. It's so good, and it's a song that I've actively listened to. I've actively gone out and listened to this song. I'm I want to listen to this song, and I listen to it on repeat. And that's the rare pop song. That's the exception pop song, because that's the one that whoa, you actually choose. It's Get Lucky, You're whoa.
By the way, one thing I did not know about this song, speaking of Get
Lucky. Also, it's a blatant, brazen ripoff of Jeremiah's London. That's not actually true, but
that may be here. But the song was produced by Pharrell. I did not know that. Apparently, it is. I just saw that right here.
Dude, yeah. Pharrell's on fucking everything right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Pharrell's cultural currency is weirdly at its peak now, because there were obviously there was the Neptune era is the peak of Pharrell when he was the new exciting thing in pop music in the mid 2000s, but he's having a very he's very culturally important now, because he's getting all those fashion stuff going on, and he's just throwing beats everywhere these days. But the problem with that is that Pharrell will have he's made many of the best hip hop beats of all time, but he is fully capable of just a stinker or just a song that just sounds like paint by numbers Pharrell. But this is not one of them. This is a good ass instrumental. I really like the piano on it is just so nice. 100% makes the song but doon doon doon. That little melody is just so it's familiar in a way that's pleasant, and it doesn't wear its welcome after multiple lessons, which is really the key to making a good radio song. A good radio song is a song that you can listen to over and over again, and it doesn't start to grate on you. And that's what this song does really well. It's every time I hear it, I'm oh, this is a fun atmosphere. I'm having a fun time.
Unfortunately,
there's no lyrics that make me cringe or anything.
I have really bad news, but as a radio listener, the song is not played.
Which sad. Is back to my kind of point that the charts, a lot of it is because
streaming these days. Yeah. But it makes me so sad.
Yeah, I definitely would like to hear this on the radio. But yeah, there are definitely worse things to be the number one single. But there was definitely one week where we had Shape of You number one. So this is definitely not
actually a good song.
Okay, I just can't. I can't. I've been defeated by Jeremiah's optimism.
I like
think
that
Shape
the
of
song
You
is
is like
Havana is communist propaganda, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Camila Cabello is secretly a tanky. That's the message of the song.
I mean, hey, the Marxist-Leninists, they fight the cultural Marxists. They're taking over, okay? They're taking over with the leftist meat. Can we very briefly? Can we talk about how cultural Marxist is like a really bad like alt-right saying? Because like if you didn't know a thing about Marx, you would think cultural Marxist. You go, that sounds kind of cool. It's got an X in it. It's pretty tight. I don't get it. But Havana, this is a very good song, and even though my opinions on Young Thug have been known for some time, I do think it is good for the culture that he does have a #1 hit song. Like I do think it's very good that he had it, even though I do not think his future is very good and it's very useless.
Is this his first #1 hit?
It is his first. Right? It's his first number. It is his first #1 hit, and I think maybe his first top 10, like his first like top 10 song.
I'm trying to think what he's. I feel like there's something he's been on that was top 10, but I'm blanking on it. But yeah, I really liked it. I mean, like clearly this is not like a memorable Young Thug verse. This is a pop star wanted the cultural capital that Young Thug brings on as a feature, and he kind of phoned in his verse. But like it's good that he's on there. And actually, I as much as like his verse isn't one of his better verses, having him on this beat and like the presence and the energy he brings to the song, I think does make a positive contribution overall. And I'm glad he's here.
Yes, I would agree. Even though,
I like Young Thug on this song a lot. Made me happy.
I would just like to briefly, as we wrap things up here, it is actually absolutely a crime that the #1 song in the country isn't just Killed Before by Young Thug, because it's the best Young Thug song he's put out in years. That's my take. Killed Before is in stores now. Go cop that. But besides that, like, yeah, shout out to Camila Cabello. It's a good song. I enjoy it.
I think Havana's easily the best song on the top 10.
All right, so
it's just an exceptional song.
We will discuss that.
You can
right
tell
now.
as much.
We will discuss
So
that.
what's
I don't want to listen to it.
What's everyone's favorite and least favorite on the top 10 this week?
Favorite in the top 10, Finesse, easy choice. Again, again, New Jack Swing. I'm a bit of a sucker for it. Like, it basically reminded me of Poison, and I was like, God, I love this. So Finesse is...
It does sound a lot like Poison.
Finesse is an easy choice for me. Worst, another easy choice, it's Thunder. I hate Imagine Dragons. Again, my comments still stand. Here's the thing, the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, to me, are the front man of Imagine Dragons, the 2 members of 21 Pilots, and then just pick a random member from Portugal the Man, and there you go. 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Whoa!
Do not,
Do
not roast them. They
You did
owe
not
you-
just say that.
First of all,
First
they-
of all,
they have-
Feel It Still is a fucking awesome song. I hear that on the radio,
really
I
great.
lose my goddamn shit. Second of all, no! Stop!
Yeah, Matty, you get that shit out of here. That's not.
No, I here's the thing. I don't care. I don't care if Feel It Still is a good song. It's so obviously made. We want to get the song in commercials, and I've heard too many of those songs, and I'm tired of it. And like, here's the thing. I mentioned that I made a tweet about Imagine Dragons where I said I was going to throat punch them, and then I also had a tweet about Portugal the Man saying they're going to be exactly the same as Imagine Dragons in like 5 years' time. And I was talking with my friend Tatiana, who is a music journalist, and she's done some really great work. Go read it. And apparently Portugal the Man, they like to harass female music critics, and that's not cool in my book.
God damn it!
Oh yeah, they're not like good dudes for sure. Like every part of their every part of
their whole save.
their,
here's the thing. They have 2 conflicting ideals. Right now, they're like, oh, we're gonna be the band that saves rock and roll. And also, we're the band that's selling out, and we're self-aware about it, huh? Like literally, I have a Portugal the Man shirt that they sent me, that says I like Portugal the Man before they sold out. And if you want to know why they sent it to us, we did a whole deal with them. They're like, hey, review this song, just tear it apart, man, just tear it apart. It's for a marketing campaign, and they didn't use anything that we did because we're a non-video podcast, and we went on too long, and it was kind of boring. We're shitting on the song. But anyways, 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse is Imagine Dragons, 21 Pilots, Portugal the Man, And
This is highly offensive to me.
I don't know what my fourth one would be. My fourth one
Have you never listened to In the Mountain in the Clouds?
No, I've not listened.
He hasn't.
No,
That album's so good.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
listening
The
to it
thing
the
about
other
Portugal the
day.
Man is that Portugal. I mean, like, they were a good to great psych rock band, depending on your
They did
your
an Et to indie
taste for
rock.
them.
Et to indie rock is what Portugal the Man did, and that's how they joined the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And that's not listening to them. That's just knowing the narrative. It's just like these guys were indie rock guys, and then they got swooped up by a major label, and they were very okay with selling out. Which here's the thing, I don't blame you for, because the music industry is in such a fucking awful state that you do what you have to do to make money. And if it means, like, hey, making these songs to put in vitamin water commercials, I don't blame you whatsoever. I don't blame you. But that's it. Let's get back. Let's not yell at me, please.
Well, don't make takes that deserve to be yelled at, and we won't.
Okay. Best. Okay. I already said my. Okay. Best worst. Alex, what is your best worst?
Havana is probably my favorite. I'm not 100% sure what my least favorite is. I want to give it to Ed Sheeran, but it might honestly be the G-Eazy song, because, like, I just found the G-Eazy song just kind of stressful to listen to, whereas, like, the Ed Sheeran song, I was just kind of bored. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah. Havana.
All right.
I don't even remember what that song is called.
No Limit is the name of it. Yeah. For me personally, I would say best, probably Havana or Finesse. One of those two. Those are both pretty good songs. Least favorite, definitely Ed Sheeran, I would say.
So my favorite is Savannah, and my least favorite is actually Donald Trump. He's my least favorite.
Jeremiah, welcome to the
Donald
Resistance.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, you know what? There's one song that just barely missed the top 10 that I wish we could talk about, and that's Gucci Gang.
Gucci Gang.
I'm so sad that's not in the top 10.
11.
I'm so sad that's not in the top 10 because
I would have loved to have a discussion.
I love Gucci
Gucci Gang is a great song.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually really like Gucci Gang a lot.
I shouldn't. It's everything that I hate, but
because it wasn't
why.
in the top 10, I didn't listen to it, and I haven't listened to it ever.
The one thing that I dislike about Gucci Gang is the way that Gucci Gang has become this straw man for anyone who doesn't like the current sound of rap music. It's like if you're having a discourse about like hip hop on the internet, and you're like, well, this is lame, and then they'll come back at you with like, how can you say that when you listen to garbage like Gucci Gang? It's like, that's a good song. Like, there are so many bad songs you could pick that people enjoy, and like people want Gucci Gang to be this terrible like avatar of what's wrong with rap music, but it's an enjoyable song, and so them trying to stick the label on it is just like oh, look how many few words he uses. Like, that's not like how songs work. It's not like whoever uses the most words wins. It's like, can you create something that's enjoyable to listen to? And he did.
Yeah.
Havana, na na na.
All right, I think that wraps it up. I think we're
going to the top 10. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little podcast. We'll be back.
You're hot like a sauna, na na. Come get some banana. You know what's the real tragedy?
Mm-hmm.
Is that London by Jeremiah never charted.
Well,
God, that song is good.
Because, I mean, the music industry abandoned Jeremiah, but also he's the guy who made Birthday Sex.
Which is like, such a good song.
But that kind of, but that basically marked him for life as a gimmick, basically.
Did you know he's classically trained?
Is he?
I believe that. Yeah, his vocal are always very excellent.
He studied at like whatever Chicago music school.
Shout out to the No More project with Jeremiah and Slow-Mo. That's always near and dear to my heart. But yeah, this is all irrelevant. We should end the podcast.
Okay.
Berlin, She With It is one of the best songs of the decade. Easily. Ugh.
All right. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Yeah. So, more concise version of my thoughts on radio. Radio is emblematic of everything that's wrong with the world, and it's oppressive and terrible and hurts me. But at the same time, that's what makes it so great, because the songs that come on that I know are fucking awful, I know this in my heart, I know that they're part of the problem. They're like, I hear Shape of You, and I'm like, oh, thank God it's Shape of You and not that Pink song. Oh my God. Oh. It's like, I know full well that I'm just living in this sad, sad illusion, but I'm enjoying it.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at Sacrifice, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and two-thirds chance of winning, because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me, and he's not even going to try. So, Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance, minus my 25% chance, you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at Sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning, if we used to go one-on-one, and then add 66 and two-thirds percent, I got 141 and two-thirds chance of winning at Sacrifice. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice.
Hard retweet. Major mood. Alright, that's the podcast, folks.
Yep.